that explosive change. And then you share an explosive change, and then the new normal. How did that change? Whatever that outside circumstance, it may be a death in the family, maybe a client who passed away, something changed your perspective that has deepened your commitment to give you a stronger why story. Why I do what I do is because of the explosive change that happened in your life. It's important to determine that. It doesn't need to be in your career. It could be before your career. And we'll give some examples of that here in just a moment. But there's always a defining moment that catapults your motivation and values and motives. And we need to pinpoint that, share it. Now, how do we share it? In an effective way, you've got to make sure, and this is the piece a lot of people forget, you've got to have identifiable characters. If you tell your story and they come into your office and they mention nothing about the details of the characters in your story, the emotions, or the perspective of the point in time of the story that you told, and they make no mention of it in the entire first meeting, then you need to revisit your founder's story. Usually people will make mention, for instance, I talk about my parents being emergency foster care parents for over 80 kids in 20 years. And that gets brought up. There are other examples similar to that. So again, people want to know that you've had similar shared experiences, but to anchor the story so they remember it and don't forget you, there needs to be identifiable characters. So identifiable characters, emotions that were experienced point in time, you just want to give them reference. Was it 20 years ago? You don't need to give dates. You can always use things like the 2008 crash. We all very much remember that. We all have someone who was affected by that. And so we all can relate to that and put it into a point in time that we all can relate to. All of these elements help burn those memories into their brains so that they will not forget you. And if they don't need you now, when they do need you, they're going to go to the first person they can think of that they felt good about. And that's why the founder story is so important. Okay. So here's the entire recipe. So if you want to screenshot this, it's Windows Shift S, hold them all down at the same time, and you can screenshot. I actually printed this out and I put it on my wall because this is the kind of the summary of making sure anytime I tell a story, whether it's the founder story or a story you're telling inside of a sales meeting, you want to make sure it always includes these characters. If you're writing a book, include all of these elements. This is the recipe. And it is combining the last two slides, characters, emotions, point in time, and then discussing what things are like before the explosive change and what life is like after the explosive change, and how has that changed the way that you do business, the commitment that you have to your business, the motives that you have. You know, most people feel about financial advisors and life insurance agents that you're just there to make money. You're just trying to sell them a product. And so the founder story will dispel that suspicion if you tell it in the right way with the right formula. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us for this week's Digital Advisor Weekly Live. Hope that was valuable for you. Of course, either comment or reach out to us. You can email rob@amhsupport.com. Otherwise, we'll see you next week, Wednesdays, 8 a.m. Pacific. You guys